Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 97th part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is Ivily. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 97, Learning Haki. There were a lot of apples and apple products that were given to Eri. The wildest though was Zap Apple Jam, a type of jam made by using magical apples. Not only was it rainbow colored but when spread it kept its rainbow. It was very weird to watch. Though that was the extent of the jam's magic. Also, despite having so many apples, Eri agreed to share because even she knew that it was too much to eat by herself. Even so, things were tense among those on the raid team, and it led to an incident that frankly was going to happen sooner or later. An incident that shall be known as the cake squishing incident. It's better not known what happened, but Izuku and Momo got off thanks to a combination of the upcoming raid and it was clearly a past life problems. Aizawa refused to repaint the wall after it to be used a reminder not to do that again on both sides, and Kaminari thankfully didn't have any permanent injuries. But there was something they needed to before the raid to prep. And they decided to let Tsuyu on it even if it wasn't originally offered to her. Though they did have to dance around the topic when talking with Ida about it. He quickly understood it had to do with work studies and he wasn't able to get all of the information yet but understood. And so they managed to book one of the outdoor training ground for the day. "Wait, where's Toru?" asked Tsuyu as they all gathered. "She doesn't need to learn Haki so she's not here," said Ochako. Tsuyu nodded, realized it made sense, as she had seen the Pinky Sense a couple times during their work studies. Plus the fact she was invisible meant that the other type of Haki wasn't good for her to use. "All right," said Mirio, "we're going to divide into groups after figuring which would be better for you learn." They all nodded. "I'm going to be the one teaching observation Haki," said Izuku, Ochako, Todoroki, Nijire, and Tamaki. Said Izuku. "Only 4 of us?" asked Nijire. "Yeah, it's because of the fact that everyone else is best suited for armament Haki," said Izuku. "It's because of my bloodline limit?" asked Ochako. Izuku nodded. "You'll be able to figure out observation Haki much easier," said Izuku. Everyone but Tamaki was confused. "You haven't told them?" asked Tamaki. "Not yet, but some families in our past lives has special abilities," said Ochako. "My family did. Our eyes had many abilities like being able to see long distances and seeing through things." "I'll explain another time." Everyone else nodded. For Tamaki it's because with his stagiaries it might be better suited, said Izuku. "Strategies?" asked Tenya. "He's an amazing battle strategist," said Ochako. Tamaki blushed and looked like he didn't want to be there a little bit. "As for you two, it's because it will be too difficult to combine your quirks with Haki," said Izuku. "That makes sense," said Nijire. Todoroki nodded in agreement. He understood why as well. "As for the rest of you, you're learning armament," said Katsuki, "and you're with me." The Reaming nodded. "I'm going to help both of them," said Mirio. "Are you going to be teaching Haki the way you learn in your past lives?" asked Ida. "No, that's a terrible idea," said Izuku and Mirio at the same time. "Mine won't work," said Katsuki. No one decided to press it. "All right, let's get it ready," said Izuku. The two groups splits off. Katsuki was the most head-on. "All right. Just use your willpower to stop my attacks," yelled Katsuki. All of them started to sweat. "And don't use your quirk shitty hair," yelled Katsuki. Kirishima nodded. All of the ones he was helping training had a bad feeling. "All right. Get ready," yelled Katsuki. His group barely had time to react as he began his assaults. Elsewhere on the training grounds, Izuku had a different plan. "It's going to be something like hide and seek," said Izuku. "So you're going to be seeking us and fighting us?" asked Tamaki. Or if you're able you can try to find me to fight, said Izuku. They all nodded. And so they all found hiding places. In her hiding place Achiko was trying to figure it out. She knew it would probably be impossible to get it on the first day. Still she did have a slight advantage as opposed to her classmates. Just think of willpower like chakra, she thought. She focused as best as she could. With Izuku he looked at all of them. He had yet to check if he could fight girls or just Momo. He did notice that Mirio was helping Katsuki at the moment, which made sense as that one needed more help. Okay, thought Izuku. He decided to go after Tamaki first as he didn't know Tamaki's fighting style as well as Shoto's. So that was the best one to do. And Izuku made his move while using his stealth skills. Meanwhile Toru was making cupcakes with Eri to teach the little girl how to make them herself. She did get permission from Izuku to do this. Wait. I thought today Midori didn't have work, said Mina. Oh, he doesn't, but everyone's doing very serious training today, said Toru. What kind training? Asked Kaminari. Hockey, said Toru. You're not going to learn it? Asked Mina, surprised. Don't need to, said Toru. The others stared at her, not sure what to say. How do I crack the eggs? Asked Eri. Here, I show you, said Toru. It was clear that the members of the class who heard this weren't sure if it was a good or bad thing she wasn't learning hockey. Back on the training ground Izuku was having a hard fight. He had quickly found Tamaki. No, the problem wasn't the fight itself, it's just that Tamaki inherited different fighting instincts from his past life. They looked at each other, taking a break. Do you think you can stop coming up strategies? Asked Izuku. I know it's supposed to be a don't think, feel thing, but it's kind of hard, sighed Tamaki. Yeah, said Izuku. It was soon decided that they would stop the fight for now and just have him try without fighting. He decided to go to Todoroki next, and hopefully Todoroki would be able to get it. Sometime later, Todoroki did not end up getting it. Izuku kicked away the managed glacier with his leg on fire. He basically had the opposite problem as Tamaki. Instead of overthinking, he wasn't thinking the problem was giant glacier always works, replaced those thoughts. Todoroki, you can just use a giant glacier for every single large threat, scolded Izuku. I'm sorry, it's something I know I need to work on, said Todoroki. Izuku just sighed. Once again he came up with the same plan as before, just use willpower to find Izuku and see if that works. He decided to find Nijire. Meanwhile Achiko still focused on feeling for it, and that was when it seemed like the world exploded. She could see all around her. It wasn't quite like the Byakugan, but it was close. And she knew she had to chase down Izuku. Meanwhile Izuku froze as he headed to Nijire's hiding spot. He saw Achiko move from her spot and headed right for him. But the thing was that she couldn't see him from her hiding spot initially. His eyes widened. She got right away, he said. That was when he had to dodge the palm strike from her. He looked at her and knew he had to take her seriously. He aimed a kick and she dodged it. She aimed another palm strike which he dodged, only for her to dodge another kick from him. However, a small seed of doubt appeared in his mind. Am I taking it easy on her? He thought in worry, am I intentionally missing? However, Achiko knew her boyfriend well. Don't worry, Deku. You are aiming for me, but I'm able to see your moves, said Achiko. Izuku could tell she wasn't lying and smiled. The two counted to spar, but evenly stopped. I think I should go fight Nijire, said Izuku. Yeah, good idea, said Achiko. Achiko decided to one more surprise attack as he was leaving, but Izuku let it happen as it was hugged, so he let it happen. The two laughed about and Izuku left to find Nijire. And Hinata smiled and was very happy. Then she saw what was happening elsewhere in the training ground and failed. Oh. I might have to end up joining that one next time, she said, paling a little. And so Izuku found Nijire and he managed to get a few good hits in. However, he had to stop the fight. What's wrong? She asked. Oh, Kaken and Mirio are done, said Izuku. Are you sure? Asked Nijire. Izuku nodded. And so Izuku got the other three and they headed to where the other training session happened. All of the ones training hockey were on the ground in juries in various ways. We didn't get anyone on the first try, said Mirio. Oh, and sorry for not helping you. It's fine. Kaken had more, said Izuku. Did any of you get it on your first try? Asked Mirio. No. I couldn't get my mind off strategy, sighed Tamaki. I didn't, said Todoroki. I wasn't even close, sighed Nijire. At least I don't think so. I occultly got it, cheered Ochako. Oh, that's too bad, but I'm sure you'll get in the future, said Mirio, who didn't seem to hear Ochako. Wait the fuck, yelled Katsuki. Seriously? Asked Mashireo in pain. I'm not surprised, she did have an advance, said Tamaki. Ochako smiled and nodded. Good for you, Ochako, said Momo, gritting through the pain and using a spear to try to stand up. I think we should take them to Recovery Girl, said Izuku. Yeah, said Mirio. I am in a lot of pain right now, said Ida. After taking them to Recovery Girl, who sighed at the training but scolded Katsuki and Mirio, telling them that it should be used sparingly. Upon hearing Izuku's training, she approved that it could be done often as liked. Great, muttered Katsuki. It does make sense, laughed Mirio. Afterwards they went back to the dorms. So how did training go? Asked Toru. Painful, really painful, sighed Kirishima. We weren't expecting anyone to learn on the first try, pointed out Mirio. I know, but it was still painful, said Kirishima. I'm kind of worried about what you went through your past lives, Ribbit, sighed Tsuyu. You don't want to know, said both Izuku and Mirio. I got it on my first try though, said Ochako. Yay, said Toru, pulling out the cupcakes. They weren't perfectly iced like usual. I helped make them, said Eri as Illumin was perfected on her shoulder somewhat awkwardly. Don't worry, I made sure she didn't ruin any batches, Toru whispered. Izuku nodded. He wouldn't be made at Eri of course, but he would have worked for sure. Still, the training as expected mostly didn't have results, but not so surprisingly Ochako got it first try, which was proof that non-pirate incantations could learn hockey, and one day in the future others would too. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 98. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.